What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Bigboyfactsjonnytv, and tonight I'll go on my AEW Dynamite review and highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications to get notified when I go live on YouTube on every Sunday, Tuesday, and every Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Follow my social media, my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description. Now let's get started. Now AEW Dynamite was a good show, and that's all I gotta say from there. It was a good show for what it was. So AEW Dynamite was live at Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. That's all I gotta say. It says it is Wednesday, my dudes, and what better place to celebrate AEW Dynamite after Independence Day than in Canada? It says we cut backstage to Renee and Keith Lee where the limited one is confronted by Darby Allin, who brings up the issues between Lee and his tag partner for the blind eliminator tournament, as if egging things on before walking off. We hit ringside where Orange Cassidy makes his way to the ring for our opening contest. Our next match is Darby Allin shaking on down the ramp, skating on down the ramp to the ring before Swerve Strickland steps out to the stage, surrounded by the Mogul ambassador. As we get a recap of the issue between him and Keith Lee, who step out next, starting down the current company of his former fellow AEW Tag Team Champion, but now Swerve himself as Lee walks down to the ring. Swerve is accompanied by Prince Nada to the ring, and this opening contest is underway. So we get a blonde eliminator tag tournament quarterfinals. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland versus AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. Now this tag team match, I might as well say, this was a this was a good tag team match to open up the show right here. It was a good tag team match. We start off with Darby Allin and Keith Lee, with Darby slapping Keith Lee, and Keith Lee throw Darby Allin with these to the opposite corner for his troubles. Keith Lee used his power to hose Darby Allin up with a supernova, but Darby Allin escapes to make a tag to Orange Cassidy, who hits the dangerous offense. He knows for on the limited one. Keith Lee just stares the international champion down before hitting a hard double hand chop onto Orange Cassidy, sending him down hard to the canvas. Orange Cassidy retreats to the corner, asking Keith Lee to wait before putting his hands in his pockets. To which Keith Lee responds with another double chop, dropping the gem onto Keith Lee's chest before falling to the canvas. Orange Cassidy is back to his feet, backing away towards the corner, where Darby Allin gets a blood tag in a set of double team offense where offense sends Keith Lee to the corner. Whereas Swerve Strickland gets a blind tag of his own. Swerve Swerve Strickland unleashed a fury of offense on Darby Allin before sending him to the corner, hitting an uppercut from the second rope onto Darby Allin before posing to the crowd with a smirk on his face. Swerve goes back to work on Darby Allin, sending him back into the corner and then whipping him hard into the opposite side, forcing Darby Allin out through the ropes to the outside. And as we go to picture in picture. Back from picture in picture, Swerve continues to attack on Darby Allin until a reversed T turns things around, and Darby Allin gets a tag to Orange Cassidy before the pair double team on Swerve. The champ continues the offense on Swerve, both on the canvas and on his feet as he tags in Darby Allin once again. Swerve is finally able to turn things around himself, eventually tagging in Keith Lee as the former tag champs beat down Darby Allin after another tag to Swerve. Become, become, we come back from the break. Another tag made to Keith Lee, but Darby Allin tags in Orange Cassidy, only for Keith Lee to go after the international champion while Swerve goes after Darby Allin on the outside, trapping him under the ring steps. This doesn't last long. Last long. Orange Cassidy catches Swerve with a dive through the ropes, but Keith Lee waits for him on the outside, only for Orange Cassidy to lock in a sleeper hold. Keith Lee makes his way back into the ring by the way of the steel steps, causing further damage to Darby Allin along the way. Orange Cassidy goes for a stone dog millionaire, but it's not enough to keep Keith Lee down until he hits a second and third one, followed by a cold red. Orange Cassidy goes for the pin, but Swerve leaps off the turnbuckle to break it up. Swerve goes on the attack after a tag before, sending Orange Cassidy into Keith Lee. But Orange Cassidy dodges a kick from Swerve that ends up hitting Keith Lee instead. With Keith Lee sent out of the ring, Darby Allin is to get one more tag in and John Swerve for a surprise pin to pick up the win. The winner in advancing in the blind eliminator tournament, Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. This was a good tag team match. Video package. Nick Wayne is the newest addition to the AEW roster. After a quick recap about what happened between Hook and Jack Jungle and Jack Perry this past week, we cut to the parking lot where Perry arrives in his car saying he's going to head to Tony Khan's office to demand a shot at the FTW title, but he blindsided by the champ himself, only to retreat back into the car and take off, leaving an angry Hook behind. Commercial break. Video package. Adam Cole and MJF spend some friendly time together at the gym to get ready for their run in the Blonde Eliminator Tournament. Okay, back at ringside, the Acclaim make their way to the ring with a rap as we see the Bolly, Bollywood boys and the Blade already in the ring for our next contest. So we get a trios match: the Acclaim and Billy Gunn versus the Bollywood boys and the Blade. And this match was and this tag team match was this was a squash tag team match. We start off with Gunn and the Blade circling the canvas as the crowd cheers Billy Gunn on. Billy Gunn locks in a hold on Blade, leading to a headlock and a shoulder tackle that sends Blade to the canvas. Gunn gets a little overconfident and gets rolled up by Blade for a near fall, but Gunn tags in Max Caster for a double team in a near fall of his own. They made tag mate to her but he and Groove Grove and even Blade are dropped by Matchcaster before they set her for the Sesame Timbers before we go to picture in picture. Back from picture in picture, the Bollywood boys managed to get in control, taking advantage of the distraction. The Acclaim as they go after Caster. Tag made to Blade, who takes control, sending Max Caster to the corner before another tag is made, and both of the Bollywood boys stay in control of Max Caster with a near fall before tagging in Blade once more. Blade continues the attack until Max Caster takes him down. Until Max Caster takes him down, changing the pace with a tag to Grove as we come back. Tag made to Anthony Bounds as the Bollywood boys get beaten down by Anthony Bounds. Grove sneaks a roll up on Anthony Bounds for a near fall, but Anthony Bounds tag in Gunn, who who drops who drops Grove to the canvas before tagging in Max Caster, who hits the mic drop for the pin and the win. The winner of the match, the Acclaim and Billy Gunn. This was a squash match. Post match, the post match celebrating is cut off by Holly Cameron mad about her rapping skills being cut off before promising something big in the form of a video next week. Billy Gunn takes the microphone to respond to this, letting Cameron know that he has 2 words for her. And then we go to a video package. Eddie Kingston wins the NJPW Strong Open Weight Championship earlier today, but still faced some major issues with an old friend and John Moxley. Okay, commentator hype of blood and guts raising the question of who joins the elite before we cut backstage to Renee Paquette and RJ City with Matt Hardy as they pull the name out of a tag partner for Matt Hardy. The name Jarrett Matt Hardy is furious about this, walking up as we cut to commercial break. So we're back from commercial break. Video package hype of Wheeler Yuta versus Kenny Omega, our main event for the night. Back back at ringside, Chris Jericho makes his way to the ring after a rough patch the past week or so. We get a recap of the tag team match last week as Jericho arrives at the ring. Jericho has a smirk on his face as he watches the crowd sings along to his theme to his theme before giving them credit for being so loud tonight. He says it's little bittersweet for him, but is interrupted by a Jericho chant before he prays on. He addressed the big losing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He addressed the big loss he had over the past couple months, saying it might be time to reevaluate a few things and make a couple of changes. He's telling us this here because the province of Alberta is the perfect place in, as it were, he started his career. He talks of his training in Calgary with SU Hard, which gets a smattering of mixed reaction to his surprise. He continues to talk of his early career before, saying he drove up and down the 2 highway and the Richards landmark, remembering what it was like he first started wrestling. He remembered the passion of when wrestling was everything to him, and he remembered that wrestling is still everything to him. Chris Jericho feels restricted, rest, re, restricted, saying it's time to become the best version of Chris Jericho ever. The only to be interrupted by the music of Don Callis arriving to the ring amid and this something booing that sounds almost drowned out by the low drone of his music. Don Callis gets to the ring as the crowd lets him know what they think of him. Don Callis starts to speak, but it's almost drowned out by the crowd cheers. But there is enough to hear that Don Callis talked to Chris Jericho all those years ago about main event the Tokyo Dome against Kenny Omega. Don Callis says without that match, these fans would be here right now. Or would Chris Jericho would be without his idea? Chris Jericho says it's hard to hear what he has saying with all the boos before talking about Don Callis' career in 2015 before coming back to pro wrestling in large part thanks to Chris Jericho, who says Don Callis has become bigger and more powerful than ever. Without Chris Jericho, Don Callis might not be here. Don Callis starts to address this amidst an increasingly loud crowd, with Don Callis saying he agrees that the two of them make history. Don Callis says he was betrayed by Kenny Omega and he has been building a family revolved around trust. Don Callis offers Chris Jericho a chance to join the Don Callis family. Chris Jericho looks to confirm that Don Callis is asking him to join a faction, but he doesn't join factions. He creates them. If you're asking to join this faction, he's got one word in response. Maybe With that, Jericho steps out of the ring, leaving us with a confused but mostly happy Don Callis. Okay, video package. CM Punk takes on Samoa Joe at AEW Collision, a match many years in the making. And Ricky Starks has a whole different set of issues to contend contend with contend with as he takes on Powerhouse Hobbs in the semifinals of the Owen Hart Cup. Backstage, Renee checks on with Roderick Strong after what happened to him at AEW Collision against Samoa Joe. Adam Cole arrives to check on him as well before being interrupted by a text from MJF promoting him to head out for our next match. Back at ringside, MJF arrives to the stage with this music before cutting his music to wait for Adam Cole to to arrive. The two head down the ring. MJF seemingly to actually give high fives to people in the front row before they enter the ring, where Matt Menard and the Butcher are waiting as their opponents in this tournament match, which gets underway. So we get a blind eliminator tag tournament quarterfinals. AEW World Champion MJF and Adam Cole versus Matt Menard and the Butcher. And this match, in this tag team match right here, this was um this was a decent tag team match. This was decent. Adam Cole and MJF discuss who starts the match, which leads to Matt Menard and Butcher blindsiding them. We end up with MJF and Matt Menard to start things off, with Daddy Magic attempting to get one over on the world champion until MJF catches Matt Menard with a thumb to the eyes. MJF appears to be annoying the chants from the crowd as he locks in an ambitional stretch, which goes sideways when he tries to get Adam Cole to give him a hand of leverage. But to no avail. The champ tries to egg him on a little bit with help of the crowd, and Adam Cole finally obliged until the referee admonished him for it. Matt Menard escapes from the whole finally before turning things around on the champ, tagging in the Butcher, who goes to on the attack as we go to picture in picture. Back from picture in picture, Butcher stays in control as he takes the champion down with some hard offense, and then tags in Daddy Magic for even more damage. Matt Menard goes to town on the champ, wearing him down before tagging Butcher back in, and the big man locking in an emotional stretch of his own on MJF as we come back. MJF is in a bad way here as Butcher reaches for some leverage from Matt Menard, distracting the referee enough for the champ to force his way out of the hold the hard way. Matt Menard has MJF locked in the same hold now as MJF calls for Adam Cole to help. And Adam Cole points out the Butcher, which stops the hold. When MJF escapes again, only for the Butcher to get a tag and cut him off from tagging in Adam Cole. One more tag to Matt Menard now, but MJF finally gets the tag to Adam Cole. Adam Cole with a neck breaker on Matt Menard, but a double clothesline is intercepted by the Butcher, who ends up taking a super kick, sending him out of the ring. Matt Menard fights back, but it's met with a similar fate. MJF calls for a tag, but Adam Cole refused, hitting the boom for the pin and the win instead. The winner of the match and advancing in the blind eliminatory tournament, MJF and Adam Cole. Okay, this was a decent tag team match. MJF calls for the music to be cut as he gets the crowd to let out some noise before telling Adam Cole to do the thing and put over the "We're better than you, baby" catchphrase. MJF says he wants to do another bro session, to which Adam Cole recurrent recurrently 10 accepts. With that, MJF sets up and and promote and prompt birthday party for Adam Cole complete with a modest cake. And Adam Cole tries to shut this all down, but MJF insists Adam Cole make a wish, and MJF tries to play full shove Adam Cole face into the cake, but Adam Cole turns it around on him, shoving the champ's face into the cake instead. Adam Cole says with all sincerely that he appreciates the birthday match, saying thank you, my friend, before leaving the ring. Happy birthday, Adam Cole, and that's all I gotta say. But that match itself, that tag team match itself was decent. Backstage, Renee checks in with Britt Baker ahead of her match against Ruby Soho, asking what Baker has to say about Ruby's comment last week. Baker says Ruby lied last week, stating there are two things she can never take away. She will always be the face of this division, and she will always be the first ever women's on her cup winner. Baker says she might just have to win the whole thing again, and it's a shame they meet in the first round this time. Commercial break. Backstage, Renee is with the Jericho Appreciation Society of Jericho, Garcia, and Guerrero, and the latter two questions Jericho maybe earlier in the night. Renee reveals that Garcia and Guerrero have been paired up in a blind eliminator tournament, which Jericho says is great because may be time to determine a new leader since they can't be with him forever. Back at ringside, Britt Baker makes her way to the ring for our next contest. This is followed by the arrival of Ruby Soho, accompanied by the Outcast, as she heads to the ring. With that, this match gets on the way. So we get the On Hard Foundation Women's Tournament quarterfinals: Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho. And this match right here, this was a solid match. This was solid. And that's all I gotta say. The pair trade the pair trade holds until Baker takes Ruby Soho down, but Ruby Soho is in control with a side headlock before Baker takes her back down. Ruby escapes to the outside for a breather as the crowd cheers Baker on, and Ruby into heads back in to get after Baker. They trade holds once again, with Baker taking the upper hand until Ruby sends her to the ropes. But it's Baker with a shoulder tackle, sending Ruby to the canvas. Baker hits the ropes, catching Ruby with a sling blade, followed by a neck um Ringer forcing Ruby to head to the outside again, but Ruby Soho drags Baker out of the ring, where the other outcast confronted her before Ruby takes her down with the STL before to the floor as we go to picture in picture. Back from picture in picture, Ruby is formally in control of the situation here, leading leading Baker up against the ropes before distracting the ref. Soraya sneaks in a cheap shot. Baker with some stomps to Baker in the corner now. As Baker tries to fight back to her feet, which she does, hitting some stumps and forearms, but being taken down hard by Ruby for a near fall. Ruby locks in a full Nelson on Baker, who struggles to get out of the hole. As the outcast taunts her from ringside, Baker slowly makes it to her feet, and things start turning around as we come back from break. We're back. We're back from commercial. Britt Breaker hits a few forearms before taking Ruby Soho down with a neck breaker, only for Ruby Soho to stomp her foot before hitting a big right hand. Breaker hits a swinging neck breaker, but only gets a near fall for her efforts. Breaker grabs a glove, slipping it on as she stares down the outcast on the outside. Turning her attention to Ruby Soho turns out to be an issue as Ruby Soho rolls her up for a near fall. And Tony Storm grabs Breaker's foot right before a settled suplex gets Ruby another near fall. Ruby heads up top looking for the double foot stomp on Baker rolls away, hitting a thirst kick and rolling into a backslide. It's just a near fall, but Baker turns it into a lockjaw, only for Saraya to distract. The ref Ruby Soho slams Baker into the ceremonial title as Tony Storm holds it, but even this just gets a near fall. Ruby Soho is furious as she looks for the lockjaw. Baker, who is fighting out as best she can before getting the ropes, Ruby rolls back to stop it, but Baker catches her with a lockjaw instead. Ruby Soho struggles as Tony Storm and Soraya pulls Ruby Soho out to stop the hold. Becker deals with the outcast on the outside before heading back into the ring. But Ruby Soho catches Baker in a pinning combination with a little leverage from Tony Storm for the pin and the win to advance. The winner by pinfall and advancing in the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament, Ruby Soho. Ruby Soho escapes the ramp with the outcast promising to take what's rightfully hers, but the outcasts have cleared out as Skyblow arrives to stare down. Her future opponent, Ruby Soho, backs away before leaving a blue has a big smile on her face as a result. Commercial break. Back at ringside, it is time for our main event as Wheeler Yuta makes his way to the ring first. This is followed by the arrival of Kenny Omega to a big pop from the crowd, eager to get his first win since Don Counts betray him as he heads to the ring. Kenny Omega is still taped up from his brutal match against Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door, but looks ready to go as this match gets underway when Willa Yuta blindsides him. So we get Kenny Omega versus Willa Yuta. This was a good match right here. Willa Yuta is in control early on, laying into the best bout machine in different corner before Kenny Omega turns things around, looking to show how brutal he can still be with some stomps on Willa Yuta in the corner. Wheeler Yuta turns it around before being sent to the corner and drops to the canvas twice over for a near fall by Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega on the attack, but things quickly goes to for tit for tat as they exchange strikes on each other. Kenny Omega lifts up Yuta for a rolling forward slam, but is hurt from the impact, and that gives Yuta an opening to strike hard and fast before taking Kenny Omega down with drop kick from the corner and a dive to the outside. Widow Yuta gets to his feet before bringing Kenny Omega up, sending him into the barricade not once but twice before breaking it up. As the ref counts, he follows up with a big net breaker on Kenny Omega to the floor, but sliding back into the ring to the to charging out of the crowd. Kenny Omega slowly getting back to a vertical base and then the apron, where he trade blows with Wheeler Yuta before looking for a suplex, but Wheeler Yuta hits an elbow on him instead, hanging him up on the top rope. Wheeler Yuta rips the cover off the middle turnbuckle, dropping Kenny Omega's head into the exposed steel as we go to picture in picture. Back from picture in picture, Yuta is now firmly in control here, bout beating the best bout machine up some more before sending him to the outside. Yuta follows him out, sending Kenny Omega face first into the ring post before bringing him back into the ring for a set time for a near fall. Yuta follows up with a chin lock, keeping Kenny Omega at bay as he tries to fight out of the hole, but Yuta drops him down for a near fall instead. Yuta goes right back to the chin lock now, but Kenny Omega is working harder to break free as we come back from break. Yuta is going. I'm sorry, Yuta is still going to work on the head and neck of Kenny Omega, but a Santa is a no go as Kenny Omega drives his knee into the back of Yuta. Kenny Omega is fighting back as he gets to his feet and is staring to get back in swinging of things before both men are down on the canvas. The referee begins to count. Both men are able to get to their feet before exchanging strikes. And this ends with a fisherman's buster by Kenny Omega for a near fall. Kenny Omega sets up for a V trigger, but is sent to the ropes. But Wheeler Yuta instead before getting dropped to the canvas. But Yuta only gets a near fall for this. Yuta heads to the turnbuckle, climbing up top, but Kenny Omega intercepts him. Kenny Omega sets Yuta up on the top turnbuckle now and hits a big superplex, sending Yuta to the canvas. Kenny Omega with the cover, but Yuta kicks out at 2. Kenny Omega brings Yuta back. Kenny Omega brings Yuta to his knees, but is hit with an elbow strike, which becomes an exchange between both men before Kenny Omega hits a hard chop, sending Yuta into the ropes, only for Yuta to bounce back from it, getting a near fall of a German suplex, but holding a race lock. He goes for another German suplex, and the third one is stopped as he sends to the corner by Kenny Omega. Yuta fights back, but is sent to the corner only to catch Kenny Omega with their waist lock. Kenny Omega fights out of the German suplex and hits a knee to the back, followed by a 2 snapdragon suplexes. Yuta fights out of the hold by Kenny Omega, but it's met with a V trigger by Kenny Omega, who looks for the one-winged angel. Yuta fights out of it, going for a seatbelt pin. It says Yuta fights out of it, going for a seatbelt pin, but gets a near fall. And Yuta hits a V trigger, but still only get a near fall. Kenny Omega is ready to finish things with yet another V trigger, but it's stopped by Don Callis rushing to ringside. The referee has to deal with the situation as well as officials leaving and opening for Takeshita to rush in and attack Kenny Omega, but he kicks out of a cover by Yuta all the same. Yuta heads to the turnbuckle, but Kenny Omega intercepts him with a one-winged angel for the pinfall win. The winner of the match, Kenny Omega. This was a good main event match right here. There is no celebration, however, as Claudio Castagnoli rushes to beat down Kenny Omega. Takeshita joins in until the rest of the elite comes rushing down to the ring to even things out. Claudio Castagnoli gets hit with the BT trigger, and they look to have Paige hit Claudio Castagnoli with a chair, but the Dark Order rushes to the ring, pulling the chair away as the show comes to chaotic close, and AEW Dynamite goes off the air. All right, now AEW Dynamite was a good show, and that's all I got to say from here. But anyway, if you guys enjoy my AEW Dynamite review and highlights, please give this video a big fat thumbs up. Comment down below on what are your thoughts on AEW Dynamite because it was a good show. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please full watch this video before you hit that subscribe button. Turn on post notifications to get notified when I premiere a brand new video or go live every Sunday, Tuesday, and every Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Follow my social media, my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description. And I will be going live again this Thursday tomorrow on YouTube. This your boy Bigboyfactsjonnytv. Have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings, kept your club. Too sweet. I'm out of here, gang.